Everybody for praying for me. I was in the hospital. My heart's only beating like 25%, but as long as I stay focused and stay on the right path, then everything will be all right. So thank you for all your prayers.
Ray J is using his last 3 months alive to dismantle the Kardashians. And this time, he claims the FBI is listening. Everyone assumed his rants were the desperate screams of a broken man. But the live stream from last night changes everything. Music a direct threat, a federal case, and a chilling sign-off. Burn me, don't bury me. While his heart beats at 25%. Sources inside his circle confirm he's on 8 prescriptions, facing a pacemaker, and still pushing forward with a racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations act case he swears is worse than Diddy. His sister just paid his bills for the year. His ex-wife controls access to his children. And Kris Jenner silent. No lawsuits, no denials, just a polygraph from 2 years ago that was supposed to end this. But here's music the problem. If this is all a bluff, why is he racing to Haiti in 2 weeks for a cure? No one can verify. And if it's real, why hasn't he disappeared yet? The clock isn't just ticking on his life.
Now, Ray J does need our prayers. It ain't got nothing to do with him, being a really, really good, big, nice sponsor up over here. But we want him to see another day. He's a fun guy. I don't have any qualms with him. Ray J is just Ray J. He's just Brandy's little bad brother.
His life. It's counting down to something they're clearly afraid to acknowledge. Because when a man with nothing left to lose starts naming names on camera, the real question isn't whether he's telling the truth. It's who's going to silence him first. Bry's little bad brother. The moment Ray J's live stream cut to black last night, the internet assumed it was another meltdown. A man unraveling under the weight of his own mistakes. His heart failing at 25% capacity. His body betraying him after years of what he himself called music dark habits. But the people who've been watching this unfold for months say this isn't a breakdown. It's a calculation. The timing alone should raise questions. Music just 48 hours after his doctors confirmed his heart was operating at a quarter of its strength.
For background, remember our last report that we did, he was telling us that he was told by a heart doctor, that his heart is only operating at 25%. So I'm assuming he's talking about that same doctor. This is where he's getting this information from. But yeah, so after he was released from the hospital in Vegas, that's when he gave us a 25% update. And then this is the newest update. So he's home. And I'm not for sure which information exactly he was given, because this is how he sums it up. But it does sound like it seems like they're giving him a corrective course that he needs to be on.
Strength. Music. He went live with a direct threat. Not to his ex-wife, not to the industry, but to Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian by name. And he didn't just name them. He invoked the FBI. He cited a racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations act case. He compared it to Diddy's conviction, then went further. It's worse than music, Diddy. That's not the language of a man losing control. That's the language of a man who thinks he's already won. Here's where the story starts to bend. The official narrative, the one floating around entertainment sites this morning, frames this as the final act of a troubled star. His health collapsing, his career in tatters, his personal life a mess after that Thanksgiving incident with the protective order and the allegations involving a firearm. But that narrative ignores the sequence of events leading up to last night. His hospitalization earlier this month wasn't just a medical emergency. It was the moment he stopped playing by the rules. Sources close to the situation say he's been sitting on information for years. Ever since the polygraph test Kris Jenner took in 2022, the one where she denied any involvement in the release of that private recording from 2007, he's never accepted that result. And now with his body failing, he's decided the only leverage he has left is the one thing the Kardashians can't buy, can't spin, and can't silence: a federal investigation, or at least the threat of one. The details don't line up with the desperate man theory. His sister, Brandy Norwood, paid his bills for the rest of the year. That's not the move of someone who thinks he's watching a family member spiral. It's the move of someone who knows what's coming. His music ex-wife, Princess Love, controls access to their children, but she hasn't filed for full custody or attempted to cut him off financially, even after the protective order. That's not how these situations usually play out. In the music, there's the Haiti trip. A man with a failing heart doesn't jet off to a country in chaos, unless he's either running towards something or running from it. And the fact that he's planning to live stream the entire thing suggests it's the former. He's not hiding. He's music documenting. And the people who've dealt with him in the past say that's the difference between a man who's given up and a man who's preparing for war. The silence from the Kardashian camp is what's making insiders nervous. No lawsuits, no cease and desist letters, no carefully worded statements about false claims or mental health struggles, just radio silence. That's not how this family operates. They've built an empire on controlling narratives, on striking back twice as hard when threatened. So why the quiet? One theory making the rounds is that they're waiting for him to collapse. Literally.
They're mentally messed up. They're whether you got a $2 billion budget or you got a 200,000, everybody's done. They're going crazy, suicidal.
Literally. His doctors have made it clear he's on borrowed time. 8 prescriptions, a possible pacemaker, a heart that's visibly deteriorating. If they ignore him, the thinking goes, he'll either run out of time or credibility first. But that doesn't explain why he's still talking, and it doesn't explain the FBI reference. Then there's the matter of the timing. His live stream dropped 2 weeks after Sean Combs' conviction on transportation charges, a case Ray J has been oddly vocal about, calling it a setup and predicting Combs would walk free. He was wrong about that, but he's not wrong about the pattern. K's downfall started with whispers, then lawsuits, then a trial that hinged on testimony from people inside his circle. Ray J doesn't have that kind of infrastructure. He doesn't have the money, the lawyers, or the public sympathy. What he does have is a direct line to the Kardashians' worst nightmare. The idea that their success isn't just built on ambition, but on things they've buried. And if he's willing to stake his last months on this, he's either got receipts or he's got nothing left to lose. The problem is those two things start to look the same when the man holding the match is this close to the end. The protective order from Thanksgiving is another piece that doesn't fit. The story, as reported, is that he lost control during a custody dispute, that emotions got the better of him, and that the incident was the final straw in a long, unraveling marriage. But people who've seen the live stream footage describe something different. A man who knew the camera was rolling, who made sure it was rolling, who seemed almost relieved when the authorities showed up. That's not the behavior of someone who's afraid of consequences. It's the behavior of someone who's already decided the consequences don't matter anymore. And when you put that next to the FBI claim, next to the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act case reference, next to the fact that he's suddenly talking about Haiti like it's the key to everything, you start to wonder if the real story isn't about his health at all. Maybe the heart condition is just...
And I mean, just the funny part about this is that when you're that rich, you just do what you do. Yeah, and
totally.
This time, the police came and they kind of schooled him, which I think is really interesting. It doesn't matter that it's Jeff Bezos.
Right.
But, by the way, we should say, it was thrown by Chris's daughters.
Yes.
Condition is just the clock. The question is, what happens when it runs out? His legal team, or what's left of it, hasn't commented on the federal claims. Neither have the Kardashians' representatives. But the lack of denial is what's fueling the speculation. In situations like this, silence isn't neutral. It's a strategy. And the strategy here seems to be waiting him out. But Ray J isn't waiting. He's moving. The Haiti trip is scheduled for 2 weeks from now. His next doctor's appointment is in 14 days. His live stream last night wasn't just a rant. It was a cutoff. 2027 is a wrap for me, he said. That's not a prediction. That's a promise.
All I wanted to do was have a good Thanksgiving.
Why did you wake my daughter up?
Ray?
Because you
You're
selfish.
delusional.
You're drunk.
You're a woman abuser
You're
and
drunk.
you're delusional.
I'm a woman. That's
Yes,
what drunk
you
people
are.
say. Like, you're taking my daughter?
Grow the up.
All right,
Seriously.
cool.
You need
All
to
You're not taking my
Like,
son.
Ray.
Like, I
get
know
up.
you're not taking my son. Hey,
Prediction. That's a promise. And the fact that he's still standing, still talking, still pushing forward despite the state of his health suggests he's not doing this alone. The question is, who's really pulling the strings? Because a man with 25% of a heart doesn't start a war unless he's already sure he's got the backing to finish it. The other detail that's getting overlooked is the financial angle. His sister paying his bills isn't just a familial gesture. It's a lifeline. And lifelines don't come without conditions. Brandy Norwood isn't just his sister. She's a star in her own right with her own brand, her own reputation, her own team of advisors. She doesn't make moves like this lightly. So what does she know? What's been discussed behind closed doors? The fact that she's the one handling his expenses suggests music. This isn't just about keeping the lights on. It's about keeping him alive long enough to see this through. And if that's the case, then the 3-month timeline isn't just a medical prognosis. It's a countdown to what exactly is the part no one's figured out yet. But here's the part that should make anyone paying attention. Pause. The Kardashians have never lost a fight like this. They've buried stories. They've outlasted opponents. They've turned scandals into publicity. So why is this one different? Why hasn't Kris Jenner gone on the offensive? Why hasn't Kim Kardashian's team flooded the zone with distractions? The only explanation that makes sense is that they're not just ignoring him. They're isolating him. And if that's true, then the Haiti trip isn't about a cure. It's about getting out of reach. Because when you're dealing with a family that spent 2 decades perfecting the art of the takedown, the last place you want to be is within their jurisdiction. The fact that he's broadcasting his plans to leave the country isn't a cry for help. It's a signal. And the people who know how these things work say it's the kind of signal you only send when you've already decided you're not coming back. What's being whispered now is that this isn't just about the tape or the money or even the federal claims. It's about the one thing the Kardashians have never been able to control. A man with nothing left to lose and a direct line to an audience that's finally starting to listen. Music, the live stream last night wasn't just a confession. It was an invitation. And the fact that no one's accepted it yet is the most terrifying part of all. Because in a world where silence is the ultimate weapon, the only thing more dangerous than a man who's willing to burn it all down is the possibility that someone's handing him the match. The clock is ticking. His heart is failing. And the Kardashians, they're waiting. But for what exactly is the question no one's asking yet? And that's the part that should keep you up at night. The pattern here isn't just Ray J's collapse. It's the way the Kardashians handle threats. And this one doesn't fit their usual playbook. When Ye went public with his grievances, they let him exhaust himself, then absorb the chaos into their brand. When Tristan Thompson's scandals flared, they controlled the narrative with strategic silence and selective leaks. But with Ray J, there's no counteroffensive. No sympathetic interviews with Kris Jenner about family struggles. No carefully placed sources suggesting he's troubled or needs help. The silence isn't just notable, it's a tell. And the tell is that they're not treating this like a scandal, they're treating it like a negotiation. The question is what he's offering in exchange for his quiet exit. This isn't the first time Ray J has positioned himself as the man who could unravel them. Back in 2022, after Kris Jenner's polygraph on that late-night show, he erupted online, calling the results inhumane and foul at the highest level. But that was anger without leverage. Now he's got a failing heart, a federal threat, and a direct line to an audience that's finally paying attention. The difference, last time he was fighting for his
documentary and be able to tell your own story, because they can't sue you if it's facts.
They can't sue me, period. These isn't facts. This is life. This is me like telling you that it's white and you're saying it's black. And they're like, well, it's blacker than white right now just because we don't want to get in trouble. We're getting cease and desist because we see the paper is white. But they're saying it's black, but it's cease and desist. And
fighting for his reputation. This time he's fighting for his legacy. And when a man in his position starts talking about racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations act cases and worse than Diddy, he's not just lashing out, he's signaling that he's got something they can't afford to ignore. The fact that they're ignoring him anyway suggests one of two things. Either they've already neutralized the threat, or they're waiting for him to make the first move. Neither option ends well for him. The Haiti trip is the part that doesn't add up. A country in turmoil isn't where you go for medical treatment unless you've exhausted every other option, or unless you're not really going for your health. The live stream aspect is what's raising eyebrows. If this were just about a cure, he wouldn't be.